This conference will now be recorded.
Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Okay. Did everyone join? Eight. Faisal, Hayat, Oak, Rahat, and Saad. Oh, Rahat, is it Rahat Zaman? Faisal, hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so let's get started then. So software testing, we are going to see the manual testing concepts. So basically, manual testing and automation testing are both parts of the software testing itself. So there is no such thing as manual testing. It's just quality assurance testing, software testing, or QA, or sometimes we call it QC, quality control, but not in software terminology. So manual testing is just another term which we invented for doing the test execution with hands and watching with eyes. So without any help of any automated tool. So later when automation concept came into the picture, then we started, discriminating like this is manual testing and this is automation testing, but there is no such thing. So both are same. However, even though it's test cases will be automated initially, everyone has to do the testing manually, go through the test cases, write the test cases, and understand the requirements and execute them on the application. So at least 1 or 2 times you have to do manually so that you will get an understanding. So in order to move to the automation testing, you need to understand the concepts of manual testing. Without understanding them, you cannot start like just code in Java and just use Selenium WebDriver and continue. So that's not gonna work because there are a lot of things which you might miss as an automation tester. So its basic thing is you need to know the understand the concepts of the software testing itself. Okay. First of all, what is this testing mean? What does testing mean? Uh, Simply saying testing is when you test something, you just watch with your eyes and make sure it's meeting the expectations or not, right? Either it's your expectations or someone else's expectations. So the same thing happens in the testing also, right? So testing in software testing especially is when you test in general in industry, you verify the objectives and properties of an object, right? For example, if you're given a pen and ask you to write test cases for it, so basically you have to write its color is an object, pen is an object, so color is what, right? Let's take a small example. Okay, so test a pen, that will be your task. And what would you write? You come up with different thoughts, ideas, right? So initially, let's call them ideas. So one of them will be color of the pen, okay, which is a property of an object, right? This is an object, just a pen, which is an object. Now you have to list its properties. So properties, color of the pen. Okay, color of the pen is, let's say, red, and height is inches, and its color of ink, color is black or blue, and so and so. Okay, so and object is like, what is the purpose, what it can do. It can write and poke and scratch, etc., etc., isn't it? So then you come up with all the test cases as well, correct? So here purpose is identifying the problems, issues, and defects. So if you encounter any issues, you list them out to issues. Okay, so it cannot write, bend, broken, etc. It's not working, or you cannot stitch it. So the final same thing applies to the software also. And the purpose of this software testing is to identify the problems and issues and defects. That is the primary goal, primary purpose. Okay, it's not the only purpose, primary purpose. Just noting them down. And achievement is finally what you want to achieve by doing software testing. You want to get rid of all the problems, issues, and you want to deliver quality software to the customer satisfaction. That is a final achievement. Final. So deliver quality software. Okay, so there are two concepts in the quality of the software when we are talking about the quality software. Okay, one is completeness and other one is correctness. Okay, what is completeness? Completeness is coverage of all functionalities. That means, and coverage is important when it comes to the completeness. Are you covering all the functionalities or not? That is important. And correctness is each functionality is satisfied or not. That is the correctness. So when it comes to quality of the software or software testing, you need to make sure two things. One is completeness and other is correctness. Okay. So in other words, if the software is complete with all the requirements or not, and the software is correctly working as per the each requirement or not. Okay, so two things in specific, and there are two aspects when you're starting the testing in terms of checking quality of the software. One is technical, one is non-technical. So technical is, you need to make sure you have all the business requirements and customer expectations, etc. So how do you get it? From business person called BA. BA in short for business analyst. Okay, you talk to them. And customer expectations, same thing, you talk to the same guy, because we are going to discuss the same going forward. So these are the two things you need to keep in mind. Non-technical aspects are, you're not worried about these, but you just need to keep them in the mind too, which are budget, cost to purchase, and time to release. So basically, time and money, in other words, right? So how does that affect you as a quality analyst? So that affects you as a quality analyst in terms of delivery time. So basically there is a deadline to understand the business requirements and complete your testing in terms of these two, completeness and correctness. So you need to keep in mind here to you have to meet a deadline. So you need to go a little bit faster based on the environment you are working. So especially if it is a waterfall, there is no rush. Pre-process, little bit rush. But in agile environment, there is more rush. So you need to expedite the tasks you are performing. So that being said, let's get main thing in the software testing, software industry itself, which is a broader thing called software development lifecycle, or in short known as SDLC. So, like the name suggests, lifecycle means it's gonna have this on its entire period and it's gonna repeat it, right? That's what it means, lifecycle. And software development, the reason we said development because it's mostly development, even though it involves different parts of software industry, kind like business requirement gathering and architecturing and developing, of course, and testing, and many aspects for managing and delivering. Okay, so everything comes under software development lifecycle. Even though the term says development, it do not get confused. So it includes software development lifecycle. Okay, so the first stages are called management stages, and the later stages are called official stages. Management stages involve three steps, one of which is invitation stage. Basically, invitation stage, there's nothing, just everybody gets invited to the meeting, including all the stakeholders and the main financials and who are going to get involved in budget and some technical guys initially, management guys, PM, project manager, project lead, test manager, if at all they are hired, but not the testers as such. So initial meeting will have only the stakeholders. So they get invited and they have a quick meeting. Then they have kickoff meeting, and kickoff meeting. So they'll just get started with what ideas, what to do and what not to do, and they'll come up with a proposal document, or known as project initiation document, PAN, PAT, whatever you call it. So, so that will be the initial document, which is written as part of the project. So then official stages start. The first stage, which are important, so these are not important as far as the testing or development is concerned. Then these are important as far as the QA thing is concerned. So you have to understand each one of them and have a grip on each one of them, even though you don't work, you just work on the one of the steps, but you still have to understand what others would be doing apart from what you would be doing as a tester, so that you can know what to expect and what not to expect from others. Okay, so first stage is requirement gathering. Right, requirement gathering, like the name suggests, most of the time the name should be self-explanatory. So that means by reading the name or looking at the name, you should understand at least something. So that is the main idea. So requirement gathering, like the name suggests, is gathering business requirements, right? So let me just state it. gathering the business requirements. And it is done by BA, also known as business analysts, and UAT guys also. No, sorry, don't worry about this. This is for the later. I wanted to explain model, V process model. So it is done by business analysts. Where do they collect these business requirements from? Collected by BAs, but who do they collect the requirements from? So they collect the requirements from clients. So clients are the one of the stakeholders. So management stages are done by clients, stakeholders. So they talk to them and they have to sit with them and they have to jot down all the requirements. Okay. Either there's a software, Excel spreadsheet, or just pen and paper initially, they'll just gather them. And then the second stage is analysis and planning. Once they gather, these requirements acts as a source to the next stage, guys. Okay, so they have to be complete or at least partially complete. I mean, not fully complete, that's fine. So that basically depends on what kind of model they are adopting. So is it agile environment or is it a B process or what? So analysis and planning, like the name suggests, they will take all the business requirements and start analyzing them, right? That's the name. Analysis of what? Analysis of the business requirements, basically. And after analyzing them, they will basically point out the no issues or any shortcomings, any gaps, right? They will point out them, they will talk to the business analyst guys. So who will talk to business analysts? System analysts, also known as SAs. Okay, so this is a different team. Business analyst team is different. Okay, and system analyst team is different. Sometimes they are combined, but there is a again inter division. So they will talk to them. So basically what the primary purpose, their primary purpose, the system analyst primary purpose is to analyze the requirements and plan them accordingly. So plan them in the sense mostly the requirements will be in terms of English, right? Or depending on the country's language. So they'll purely be textual. Textual in the sense just text, either in Excel or any tool like Quality Center or Requirement Requisite Pro. So these are the tools used by business analysts. So they will just write them down, note them down. Now, nobody understands except for them if they just say it in English, right? So you have to depict them in diagramical manner, diagram. So that is job of system analyst. So they will read and understand the requirements and also provide some diagrams so that visually they can represent the requirements for others to understand them easily. So that is a primary goal. So apart from this, the visual representation is fine too, but mostly others need to know the functionality as well. At least the how does it look like, just dynamic. How do they? So that's not their jobs. Development is job of someone else, some other teams, right? So they will just come up with a concept called wireframes. Okay, so first they will provide diagrams and wireframes. So wireframes are nothing but little bit extra functionality than diagram. So in the sense that in the PPT or PowerPoint presentation, you can put clicking something will take you somewhere, and just put some radio buttons or check boxes or X boxes, drop downs. It won't have the real functionality, but it will mimic the real functionality. So it's just a mimicking, so that we will get an idea. Like for example, if you enter user ID password and click login button, you will be logged in, right? So you can also just say this in English, which is a business requirement, and we can just diagrammatically represent it, which is better. Or you can just put a dummy, like a GIF kind of, I mean, animated thing. So that's what is wireframe about, so that even the rest of the team members, rest of the project team understand it. So that's their job. So understand the business requirements and provide these analyzation. Okay. So next, system design. So system design, like the name suggests, design part. Okay. So design in the sense not just a wireframe design, so that is also design, but elaborated design. So the design in terms of they'll pick all these wireframes and requirements that are done by SAs. So BSAs are the uh, combination of business analysts and system analysts. So there will be BSAs too, which acts as a bridge between business analysts and system analysts. So there will be another team, okay, which basically act both, who basically know both business requirement gathering as well as the analysis part. So they can act as a bridge. So system design, the third stage, the technical architecture team. Okay, that's who are going to work on them, also known as PAs. Okay, PAs. Okay, BA in the sense just singular, so I'm looking BAs, SAs, PSAs. So they are going to work on more elaborated design, right? They will take the requirements, diagrams, and wireframes and analyze further and come up with architecture diagrams. Okay, so design architectures. So this is what they're gonna come up with. So their job is to come up with the design. So these designs are in the form of flowcharts, and different. So basically, it will represent a flow chart. So what is a flow chart? So everybody knows the flow chart. Let me show you. It should have. Okay, let me show you on. Technical design flow charts. So this will give you an idea. So it will be represented in form of like this. So this is the diagram. Okay, I don't know if everybody simply you can see. So this is a flow chart. Start and process what you want to do. So always the geometrical figures should be appropriate, so that by looking at them, what it's supposed to do, we should know. So start, process, what the process is represented in rectangle, and decision, like if you are making decision which results in yes or no, that is put in a diamond shape object. And yes, if it is satisfying that flow, that leads to another flow, subflow, and if it is no, it leads to another flow with a dotted line, and the another process takes care of it and comes back, and there is a delay, and this process repeats no until it becomes yes, that means satisfied. So that's basic. Okay, so going for like little bit further, let me open this. So let's say this is the high level flow, right? High level design. So planning and gather functional requirements. Okay, so this is not technical, but non-technical, but you will understand how the flow is, flow chart looks like. And flow functional requirements have both risks and security issues. Both are interdependent, and risks are going to involve resources and staffing, and the communication part happens, and the resources and staffing involve budget, right? And purchase and acquisitions, blah blah blah, and budget, then testing. Okay, communications to testing, there is a link dependency, training to testing, right? So all this go to yes. So for example, if you have decision to make, is approval needed? Yes. Then continue the executing process. If there is no approval needed, then adjust and cancel to the go to closing. So this is a non-technical flowchart, but it will give you an idea. So let's see if any technical flowchart. So this is also non-technical. So something starts and something need to be decided with speedy tilting criteria. Either mostly the decision is going to result in yes or no. I mean satisfied or not satisfied condition. That's all in Java terminology. So if yes, you go to some other flow and that leads to some other flow. No, you go to some other flow, which is a negative flow. So this is called happy path that leads to the yeses, and the one which leads to no's is sad path or erroneous path, which is that's why its color coding is very important. If you see, the yeses all are coded with the arrows are coded with the green color, whereas no's are coded with color coded with red color. So this, if you see no, it's going to all the way negative. Decision is delayed, so it's going to result in negative. So when you start analyzing these flowcharts also as a tester, you need to come up with some scenarios, test cases, which are like negative test cases. The positive flows lead to the happy paths or positive test cases. So it's important to understand the flowcharts as well. So let's see if there are any other. Okay, flowcharts are in different format. Like I said, you can also depict them in the PowerPoint presentation or different presentation. And these are the symbols that you use in the flowchart. Like I said, this is a terminator, indicates beginning or end. So the oval kind of thing is not complete oval, complete rectangle. So if you find, yeah, process, you have to put in a square or rectangle. Decision is in the diamond shape, like yes or no. And if there is any delay, you put D-shaped object. And if there is a data you are inputting, like first name, last name, date of birth, gender, all those things, then you put them in the trapezoid. Okay. And if you any involving document or PDF or anything like that, you put this in this geometrical figure. Multiple documents, you put like this, shadow. And subroutine, preparation, this shape, display, and manual input, manual loop, loop limit, storage data, connector, off page connector, and blah blah blah. Okay, database, this symbol, okay, the box symbol, the cylinder symbol, and merge symbol is the triangle, the down triangle, and sort collate. Okay, so you don't need to completely understand them, so but just having an idea will be better, because if you are reading a plan document that is forwarded by your team members, other team members, the flowcharts will contain these symbols. So just by looking at the flowcharts, if you are able to understand, it will give you a better idea. So that is the reason. Okay, now let's go back to the official stages of software development lifecycle. That's what we are discussing right now. So system design is done by the architects, technical architects, who are gonna analyze them, come up with the flow charts and stuff like that. Okay, so there will be two kinds of designs. One is HLD and other is LLD. What is HLD? HLD means high level design. LLD means low level design. Okay, so high level design is gonna involve all aspects of the project, right? So like, yeah, like somewhere here, which gonna just look like very big flow chart, not just a small flow chart. Maybe this one. Okay, so gonna ask me. So if you can look at it, it's gonna look like very big flow chart, but you can just zoom in and read it using different software, Internet Explorer or different software or project Microsoft project reader or something. LLDs are subdivisions of each high level. So let me just state the examples. For example, the project involves login, transaction, logout, registrations, etc. So HLD shows everything, the interlink or dependency between all the login module. These are called module: login module, logout module, registration module, transaction module, so on and so forth. Whereas LLD goes into each of these modules. This division inside the modules is completely depicted at the inner linkage within the module. So it is inter HLD is the interdependency on all the modules in the project, whereas LLD is the intra module. So within the module, how it's going to look like. So the flow, complete in detail flow. For example, if you take login, so login first involves user ID, password, then you log in, and what happens if the log is not successful? Is it going to throw error? Login is not successful. Is successful? Yes. Then login, go to the account page. Okay, that's a different flow in the diamond. And if it is not successful, and is display the error message that your user ID password not correct, and go back to the login page, the cycle repeats. So that should be the low level design of the login. So HLD covers all modules, whereas LLD covers within the module but in detail. So these things are done by the system and technical architects, which is a part of system design. Okay, once the design stage is over, or it is still being designed, the next stage, official stage, is called implementation, or popularly known as coding. Okay, so what does it mean by coding? Coding means coding in Java or .NET or C Sharp, whatever, in language. So basically, you code it, right? You take all the requirements and technical architecture documents. So all these are considered as the inputs for the development guys. So this is done by the developers, either Java or .NET or whoever. So they do the development and deployment also. Deployment is done by another team, infrastructure team, but their primary job is to make sure the deployment is correct. Deployment in the sense they have to uh, put the code to work. Okay, so they just put it to the different environments so the testers can test it, others can do whatever they want to do, and put it to the production so that the end user can access them. So all this part of implementation. So this is done by who? Developers, right? So they come up with what do we call as code implement. Okay, so that's what they're going to come up with, code implement, already written. So it is basically involves Java. The deliverables is Java code or .NET code or whichever code, C Sharp code or Python code, right? Different programming languages are there, so it could be anything, or C, C++ also sometimes. Okay. Now let's say implementation is done fully or partially. Then comes a stage of testing. So this is the main stage that we are supposed to work on, the testing stage. And who are going to work on? The test engineers, senior test engineers, junior test engineers, manual testing engineers, automation test engineers. Everybody is involved in test engineers. So they are going to work on testing. So this involves both. Here, let me state what it does. So basically, this is a quality assurance. So test engineers are in short known as TAs. T T T there is a T. T is okay, in short known as test engineers, which involves both manual and automation. Okay, so they are gonna come up, read all these documents. Okay, so read the technical designs and business gathering, business requirements and system requirements, and they are gonna analyze them and come up with a thing called test cases, right? That is their deliverables, and write down these test cases, the scenario based on the scenarios, and executing them on the application, the coded final deliverable. The source deliverable is the application. So test cases, execution, all this is the job of testers. And provide the results, the verdict, pass or fail. And then after this, parallelly, the user acceptance testing will be going on once it just goes to production. So which is just to make sure everything is done correctly by the quality assurance team, and they will do the rest of the testing. And then once the user acceptance testing is done successfully, testing is done, then application goes live to production. That means it is available for the general public end user. Okay, now the same cycle repeats. That's why we call it a cycle, software development life cycle, because once application is live, you don't stop it, because new requirements keep coming and there are modification of the existing requirements too. So again, business requirement gathering or modification happens, again analysis and planning happens, and system design for the new requirements, and the coders, developers have to implement the new requirements, and testers have to test and write new test cases and execute them, and UAT again happens, again the new releases go to production. So every time new release 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, so 0.2, then 2.0. So all these releases go into the production environment. So production environment is nothing but live environment, which is accessible by the end user. Like for example, if you access any website like yahoo.com, let's say, okay, that means this is live, right? So this is live. That's where we are able to access it. Somebody has gone through all the software development lifecycle. They gather the business requirements and analyzed and provided the designs by system designs, system architects, and the developers have coded it and testers have tested it, so that you can see it, right? So that's how you see this. That means it is working fine for the end user. So I am the end user I am not testing it from the project perspective, but I am the end user. That means it is gone live. So this is the final stage, but they keep on improvising. So if you look at the same site 1 year back, it would look differently, because they changed the requirements and came up with a lot of new things. So the cycle continues. So these are the official stages in the software development life cycle in a broader manner, right? We just discuss them in a broader manner. Now let's discuss them in detail. Requirements gathering. Okay, so same discussion, but more clear cut. What, when, who, how, and why. So these are things we are going to discuss. What's, when's, whose, how's, and why's. Because these are important in the software industry. What you are testing, when you're testing, who's testing, how you're testing, and why you're testing what you're testing. So these are important. So the same thing you have to discuss for other. Okay, so when it comes to business gathering, what are the deliverables? The deliverables are business requirement specification document, right? That is the deliverable, which is also known as BRS documents. Okay, so who works on these? We already discussed a little bit about this. The business analyst team works on the gathering of the requirements and deliver the business requirement specification document, or in short known as BRS document, right? Now, what do they work on? They take the source, right? What is the source? The client requirements, of course. They talk to the clients and come up with the business requirement specification document. And they have to have a checklist, like just to make sure all the business requirements that you are jotting them down and documenting them in a final document called BRS, which they are going to share with other guys, okay, are correct or not. So this checklist, they make sure with the use of this checklist, are these documents have right requirements or not? Are these docs have complete requirements or not? Okay, we already discussed in the beginning, right? Completeness and correctness. So they have to make sure these two things at each and every stage. And are these docs have achievable requirements or not? Sometimes you don't have achievable, so most of them look like impossible requirements. So they have to make sure if it is impossible requirement, obviously the other guys cannot code it mainly, right? So if it is like you provide just let's say after logging in, you will get a gift card like $50 after that is an impossible requirement, because if more guys just log in, success or register, I mean in users register, you cannot give $50 to each, right? So that's impossible requirement. So that's just an example. Okay, now second stage is analysis and planning. Okay, so what is the deliverable for these guys? The SRS document, or known as system requirement specification document. So these terms are commonly used, so you have to remember them, or if you're going to use them and understand them, you're going to remember them anyway. And who works on these? System analyst, like we said, system analyst or business system analyst. Okay, the bridge guys, business and system analysis guys. And what they work on, they take the business requirements from the BAs and they come up with the wireframes, right? Wireframes are the visual representation with a little bit dynamic functionality. Okay, just to give an idea. Okay, analysis is done by the BRS has customer business requirement, and SRS document have functional solutions to business requirements. So the SRS documents are most practical documents than the BRS. These are raw documents, but these are practical. Practical in the sense others can take them as is. The technical architects can take them and come up with the designs, and developers can take them and start coding, because they can just literally illustrate and convert them to Java language. Of course, provided the HLD, LLD are ready to, and testers can use them for the idea purpose. And okay, so review techniques. They will use review techniques like walkthroughs, inspections, and peer reviews. Walkthroughs in the sense they will set up meetings and just walk them through. okay, in a PowerPoint presentation manner, the analysis team, and show to everyone so that everyone understand. And inspection means they will just go through the checklist and whether they are meeting them or not, they will check. And peer reviews, they'll send these documents, the business BRS document and SRS documents will be forwarded to other teams and ask them to peer review. So peer review in the sense the peers internally, they will review and point out any mistakes or any suggestions, comments, okay, concerns. So all this will be provided in the Word document with the red color or commenting, and they will be sent back to the original authors, and they will review, re-review them, and correct them, and resend back to the teams for re-review until the review this continues until all the issues have been resolved. So finally, it will be approved after the peer review approvals. So once it is approved, that means it is certified. You are good to go. The rest of the teams. Okay, so after system analysis, the system design takes over. Who does the system design? Technical architects, right? So they'll do two things. One is HLD, high level design, and other is LLD, low level design. So like we discussed, HLD contains overall architecture of the project, the complete architecture covering all the modules, like in a diagrammatical manner, flowchart manner. Okay, like home page, then leads to login page, mail module, chat module if it is a matrimonial site, not matrimonial module. So this is just a high level design. Overall, it looks, I mean, not in detail, but just a superficial, you know what I mean, macro level. Okay, so again, this will give you a non-technical guys an idea, but for the technical guys, you need a low level design. So this low level design document contains internal architecture of the each module. Okay, for example, if I take login module, okay, so it's gonna show internal flows, subflows, all the data flowing navigations should be depicted in this flowchart. So if you take any login, what's it gonna have? Two things: user ID, password, right? True. Now, this it's not a good diagram, so let me show you once I explain. So if you use a password, you enter false, it checks with the database, then it goes to different flow. You have to enter that. Okay, it comes back to you. If the both are same, correct and true, and it goes to next page. So this is a simple diagram. So let me show it to you in the Google or Yahoo. So sample flow chart for login module. So we can pick one of these. This is the simplest. That's why you can easily understand. That's why I'm showing it to you. So if you look at it, start, you log in, right? Log in with the user ID password. Now you're authorized. That means login credentials are correct, and you're authorized. Yes. Then access granted, authorization and authentication. So you're authenticated, and you're going to next level, right? Another exit module, or you want to exit module or different. You will be given different choice. So first condition is, are you authorized or not? So that is based on whether you're providing valid credentials or not. So valid credentials, yes. Okay. If no valid credentials are provided, then you're prompted with the login page again, right? Now you're again providing the wrong user password, then again. So again you're prompted with login page, again you're providing the wrong credentials 3 times in a row. Okay, now the check is made 3 times in a row. No, so once 3 times are passed, attempts made 3 times with the wrong credentials, then it goes to this flow. Yes, that is a negative flow. So this leads to another start. Maybe you have to just clear the cache and start over, or you are blocked, your user ID is blocked. This is a sign up page or login page, so it's not a sign up page, so you will be blocked most likely. You have to call the customer care guys and everything. That is a different flow, so that stops there. But when you provide the correct credentials, yes, access is granted, then it either you exit module, no, then you go to different flow, exit module, yes, you start over. That means you log over. Okay, so this is a simple flow chart for low level design of login module. So this is how it's going to be, but it's not going to be this simple in reality. It's going to be more complex. So checklist, every team has checklists. So to make sure whether what they are doing is correct or not, so their checklist will all do these documents have right diagrams, symbols or not, like right diagrams in the sense, so flowchart should have right diagram. So if this decision making diagram is like if you put a rectangle, that's not a right diagram. So the design technical design people, technical architects have to go through this whether the diagrams are correct or not, in the sense that if other teams look at this diagram, they have to understand without even reading, hey, this is decision, right? And do these docs have complete diagrams or not? So if I'm missing this arrow, let's say, okay, that's not the complete diagram, so they have to make sure that. And do these documents have achievable solutions? Of course, this is common to all. The checklist item is common to all teams. Do these documents have automation testing process or not? So that is for our automation team. Okay, so once this is done, next level is implementation. So who does the implementation? Implementation means actual development. The Java developers or .NET developers will code it, right? So who works on this? Developers. So developers take these design documents and understand them, take the system, analyze documents, wireframes, and look at them, how to code the HTML page, okay? And they understand the business requirements, and they will start writing coding logic based on the requirements. Like if this user ID password is correct, then you have to provide the authorization, otherwise not. Okay, authenticate them. After authentication, you have to authorize these users to only these, limit these users. If they are super users like admin users, authorize them to different levels of application, more features. So all those will be put in a in the form of Java. So basically they have to convert the business requirements, translate them into Java language, English to Java. So that's their job, and debug them and deploy them. So all the rest of it. And the tools they use is Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA, right, for the coding. If you're not seen, this is the Eclipse that we are working on, and IntelliJ IDEA is the same thing, which is a more advanced version of Eclipse. And Toad is used for the database, and SQL develop for the database. So Eclipse for coding, they use Eclipse, and database they use Toad or SQL developer or Oracle client, or different based on the project expectation. Whatever they are using, they have to use. Okay, so implementation not only involves developers but DBS also. DBS in the sense database administrators, database, because without database you cannot move forward. I mean, you cannot store the data. So also there is a team called integration team who actually work on web services, which are also important part of the project. So developers, main developers, even for coding, right? Java coding and all the coding. Java coding, let me say just Java because it's more popular. Let me connect to the battery. Okay. The tools they use is Eclipse and IntelliJ, And the technologies they use is Java, .NET, PHP, or so all these technologies. Okay, so coding, unit testing. So unit testing is their part of testing. We'll discuss more about this later. Okay. So unit testing is to test their own code in terms of the structure of the code and logics they have provided for loops, conditions, all those. They will test it internally so that it works fine before going to the actual testing time. So unit testing uses white box testing techniques. Okay, so open box, clear box, which is known as. So what are the white box testing techniques? So as a tester, you don't need to know these white box testing techniques in detail, but it is very good idea to just have an idea about them so that we can know our own black box testing techniques later. Okay, so what are the white box testing techniques? There are 4 types of white box testing techniques, one of which is basis paths testing. Okay, and second one is control structure testing, and third one is program testing, and fourth one is mutation testing. What is basis paths testing? To check whether the programming is running or not. So this is part of debugging. Okay, so don't think you have to do it, but as automation testers you need to do this too, little bit of testing. So it's so basis paths testing is to check whether the program is running or not, the program, simple program they have written. And control structure testing is to check whether the program is running correctly or not. Okay, so whether it is running or not in the first place. And second thing is it has to run correctly or not. Okay, so that's what control structure testing does within the Java coding. And program testing is to check whether the program is running correctly and falsely or not. So this is both negative and positive testing. Okay, so what does it mean by correctly and falsely? So if they provide correct input, it has to work correctly. If they provide invalid input, it has to work incorrectly, falsely, right? So if you are providing correct data and if it is not working correctly, that is not correct. And if you are providing wrong data and it is working fine, that is also not correct, right? So based on the input, it has to either work correctly or incorrectly. Okay, so that's what the program testing does. And mutation testing is to check whether the program is not running correctly by changing the program intentionally. So this is kind of negative testing. By inputting negative data, it's not working correctly. So that should be positive. Okay, so integration testing. So like I said, it's also part of development team, the integration testing, who basically work on the web services, in especially when it's going to involve three-tier architecture or entire architecture. So we'll discuss about that more later. But to verify the correctness between the modules, that is their job, integration testing. And approaches and techniques they use is top-down approach, okay, and bottom-up approach, hybrid approach, and system approach. Don't worry about this. You don't need to know in detail. Just for an idea, I'm telling you. Top-down approach is in the sense main module is complete, right? What are the modules? Modules are we have already seen here. Home page module, login module, mail module, chart module. These are all the main module. So let's say home page module. That first page you are hitting is the home page module, right? So if you go to any site, the main page is Yahoo page. So the Yahoo News is the next one. So let me take you. So this home page module is not developed, but the sports module, news module, finance module, politics module, entertainment module, all are ready. So that's okay. In that case, they will come up with a replacement for the top module called stubs. Okay, so main module is complete. Top down approach in the sense main module is complete.
let's say one of the submodules, let's say mail module is not complete. Main means home page module is complete. Okay, so mail module, if I click on this, this is not provided, right? It's not provided, it's not displaying the login image. That means it's not complete. In that case, they will come up with a temporary program called stubs, right? So it's just shell programming that will replace this mail module, okay, for the testing purpose only, not for the end user purpose. I'm telling, for the testing purpose, or the rest of the teams can take continue their work. So for just the rest of the teams to continue until the submodule or submodules are complete, they will come up with simple programs called stubs that will replace this mail module or news module. Okay, so that is called top down approach. The top page, the home page is ready. Okay, so the sub pages, one or more of the sub pages, sub modules are not ready. So in order to cope up with the situation, they come up with the stubs. Don't worry, what are the stubs? It's just a replacement or temporary programs for those particular modules. And bottom up approach in the sense, main module is not complete, but all of these modules are complete, sub modules are complete. Okay, so the main module is not completed, so I cannot even hit the main page, home page. So obviously I cannot go to, even though these are complete, I, from the development perspective, login module is complete, but main module itself is not complete for the testing, so I cannot even go. So in order to cope up with that situation, they will come up with a temporary program for main module is called driver. Okay, so the driver actually leads them to the submodules without having to go through this home page. So that is just to get going with the testing. So we not to block. So that is the bottom up approach. That means bottom ones are done, up one, which is a home page, is not done. Okay, and hybrid approach is combination of these two. That means main module is not complete and some of the submodules are not complete, right? So main module is not complete and this ports module is not complete too, let's say. So in that case, what they will do, the developers come up with both driver and the stubs for the missing submodules. Combination of this is just a combination. Hybrid means combination. And system approach means all modules must be finished, then only testing occurs. That means they cannot they cannot go with the temporary solutions called stubs and drivers, but they have to completely implement the main module and each of these sub modules, right? So that is a system approach, regular approach, common approach, but this takes a lot of time. So that's why these techniques, all of these techniques are going to get implemented. Okay, we have 5 minutes left, so I'll just cover the system testing and tomorrow we'll continue more. So this is the main part of testing, system testing or QA. So who does the system testing? Testing team, manual testing team and automation testing team, right? And what they do in this, to verify customer requirements in terms of functionality using black box testing techniques. Okay, so the testing techniques used by the developers are called white box testing techniques, okay, for debugging purpose, whereas the main testing team uses the black box testing techniques, also known as closed box testing techniques. So these we are going to discuss in detail what are these black box testing techniques are. So just hold on to this black box testing techniques. We are going to use them because they involve much more complexity. So before knowing the black box testing techniques, what are the black box testing types? Okay, so let's know about the black box testing types. Then we will know black box testing techniques. So there are 3 types of black box testing done by us. One is usability testing, second is functional testing, third is non-functional testing. Okay, so like the name suggests, usability testing more primarily concentrate on the look and feel, okay, and user friendliness. So user interface testing is one part of it. Look and feel, ease of use, and short navigations are the primary checkpoints for the usability testing. And second is manual support. Help documents are there or not, verify existing of help documents prepared by the technical writers. Okay, so those are internal. So for example, say if you look at this is more user friendly. Look and feel is good, right? I can easily navigate through all this mail, news, finance, and everything. I can click on sign in and I can go and enter my user ID and next. Then it will ask for the password, right? So these are all easily navigatable, and user friendliness is correct. Okay, so if I say this is not user friendly, then as soon as I come, the cursor must blink in the search field so that I can just start typing, right? So that is user friendly. If it is not happening, the cursor is actually highlighting somewhere here. It is selecting finance, so that's not user friendly. Look and feel is good. Okay, I mean even though most of the ads display here, okay, so look and feel is good. So you can close the ad and just look at them. So you can say if ads are taking all of these pages, so look and feel is not good. So this ad is taking over here, right? And there is no cross button, red X button is not there. I cannot even close it. So you can say look and feel is failed. Okay. So these all cosmetic things are tested in the usability testing. So basically it's going to test cosmetic. Cosmetic feature and user friendliness of the software. And help documents in the sense, sometimes we have to have help documents somewhere here, like what is the manual thing, how do you navigate, all those things. Those are supposed to be there, and those are supposed to be written by technical writers. So if they are missing, so that will fail the manual support testing, help documents testing, that what called. So these two things come under usability testing. And functional testing have three things. Functional testing have two things, but these are mandatory. Okay, main primary testing is functional testing only, so it's mandatory and it comes under system testing and to verify project's functionality in terms of customers requirements. So this is very important. So main goal of functional testing is to verify functionalities in terms of requirements. So there are two types of functional testing, again, subdivision. One is called smoke testing or sanity testing. The other is called functionality testing. So mainly functionality testing, regression testing comes under functionality testing. So you have to concentrate on these. So smoke testing, and what are the smoke testing and what is the functionality testing? We will see tomorrow in detail. Okay. And what are the black box testing techniques that we just stated? We will discuss in detail about these tomorrow. So these are today's topics. We just discussed the important concepts in the software development life cycle until our own stage: requirement gathering, analysis and planning, system design, implementation, testing. So this is where we are, and we are going to concentrate more on the testing in detail. Okay, tomorrow we will do that. Any questions so far? Any doubts? Where are you? Where it is? Yeah. Yeah. Any doubts so far? There are 16. You can state. You can say.
No, everything is good. Thank you.
Okay, good. So, did you understand clearly? Any voice issues? No?
I have two questions for you, please.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So my first question is, who, like you said, we have doing some diagrams or something. Who's that job for? Is it for BA or is the architectural system architectural job?
That is the job of architect. Okay. BA, like I said, he only concentrates on which has said collecting the business requirements. Right? That means writing the requirements in English. That's where
Okay.
his job ends. So this is purely what they work on: client requirements, jotting down. You know what jotting down means? You just write them down in Excel or whatever software in English. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
No diagrams stuff.
So
Right?
BA gonna be do like the functional requirements or other kind of requirements as just a written English on Word files or Excel files.
Yeah, that's
So
all.
the
Like
UML diagram
example,
designed by architecture.
right? Exactly. You understood correctly. Example of business requirement is I'll tell you, it's mostly in a raw format. I mean, client requirements will be morely raw format. I mean, they will come up with all their ideas, but he has to put them in the nice sentences. That's their job, so that everybody else can understand. So, like for example, if valid user ID and password are provided, the login should be successful. Okay, this is a business requirement, not a functional requirement. This is a business requirement. That's what they will write. This is the requirement number 1. So they will give like requirement ID 001. Okay, so that's ID. And requirement 002, that's the next ID that says clearly, I mean, everything should be clear. So it says negative of this one, same thing. So if invalid user ID and valid, so these are valid, right? Valid user ID and valid password. So they have to explicitly mention everything clearly. Invalid user ID and valid password are provided, the login should not be successful. Correct.
Okay.
So that is the next requirement. So all this is clear, so that when system analyst understands them, they can represent them in the wireframes, right? And same thing is done by more in a flowchart manner like this. This is not a wireframe, but I'll show you a wireframe in a moment. So this is done by clearly here, valid, invalid. You can clearly see authorized. That means if login user ID is not correct, no. Again, 3 attempts are done. It cycle repeats until 3 attempts. Then finally go out. So you can restart that. But when it comes to the wireframes, frame sample. Okay, so this is gonna look like this. I mean, it's mostly, yeah. So if you can look at this, this is the example of wireframe. But if you actually look at in the real-time project, you will understand. Yeah. So it has a graphical representation. I mean, see here.
Okay.
Okay, so it just like imagine it as a GIF. You know, everybody knows GIF, right? So it just gonna animate things. It doesn't have the real functionality, just animation. So that's the wireframe. So that if after login, what happens? It will just go to the flow, just like a Flash. If everybody knows Flash kind of document, it will have that. But yeah, so design documents are provided by who? Only the technical architects. All these flowcharts, including high-level design and low-level design. That's a good question.
So in requirement documents, are the BA gonna be write down the test case and test plans also, test plan or
No.
test case?
No. So BA does not write any test cases. That is our job as a tester. BA's job is only sit with the client and jot down the requirements purely. That's it. He is going to focus on the same thing for the entire project period. Yeah. So testers, you have to write the test case. We are going to come to the test case part in detail later. Yeah, but it's quality assurance guys or testing team guys. Yeah.
And my second question is, can you tell me a little bit more about difference between black box and white box testing?
Oh yeah, so white box testing is a part of development, right? So mostly people gonna get confused between both of these. So it's a part of developers. Developers' job is to do the white box testing part in the unit testing. So white box testing, it's they are not testing the actual functionality of the application. They are not testing any requirements. They are testing their own Java code. Okay. So inside whether their functions are working or not, the methods and the variables they have declared are working or not, or the conditional structures for loops, if conditions and while conditions, are they working or not, and if I provided correct data, are they working? If I don't provide correct data, are they not working? So all these things they will check internally. Just that's a part of unit testing. So white box testing techniques are those, whereas black box testing techniques are part of our test case writing. They are going to be helpful in test case writing. I'll tell you more about these in the next class. So just to give you a heads up, functionality testing, like I said, it's the main testing, right? Smoke testing and functionality testing. So black box testing techniques involve boundary value analysis, equivalence class partitioning, cause and effect analysis, and graphing, cause effect graphing, and error guessing. So these are the main aspects of the black box testing techniques. In order to even write the test cases, you need to understand them clearly. So we will discuss about these individually in the next class. That's going to be on Tuesday, I guess. Yeah, Tuesday. I think Asad is going to inform you guys. So don't worry, we will discuss about this. But just to give you a heads up, so these are the black box testing.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So any more questions from anyone else?
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, is it required to memorize all the term, like let's say about like all the documents name or like the testing things? Is it required to memorize all the terms?
Sorry, I didn't catch you. All the terms.
Like let's say
Okay,
about
terms.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yes. You have to, I mean, you don't have to memorize or by heart because you will get used to them. The terms like, for example, I mentioned like SDLC, that is a term, right? So this is most widely used in the project, real-time project. For example, if they say, okay, what is your part in SDLC? They'll ask, okay, you cannot say what is SDLC. That's a basic question, right? So you have to know what SDLC is. It's a short form for software development lifecycle. And what is the let's say another term, HLD, LLD, right? So this is the commonly used terminology. HLD means high level design, which is also term. This is the acronym for the same term. So high level design, by saying that you should understand, hey, this high level design is done by technical architect guys and it is gonna look,
Yeah,
it is gonna
that's
cover
yeah,
all.
I understand that fact, but the thing is, like, let's say about there are some other people who works in the same project, like developer, BAs, or like some other people. So they have some like in your documents you shows they have some other terms too. So as a tester, like, should we memorize those terms, or like we should focus on our term, like we should what we should gonna work?
I got you. Okay, you don't need to go into those details. I mean, they business analyst team in depth, they are going to use their own terminology, right? Their team. Okay, so that we don't have to know as a testers. So I agree with that. But on the broader perspective, I mean, whatever the terminology everybody else is using in the project, you should know as a tester. That's for sure. Because in the testing terminology in automation, let's say if I am using a hybrid framework with a keyword approach, data driven approach, that's a part of automation testing terminology, right? Now if you expect a business analyst to know what a hybrid framework is, no, it's not working, right? They are not supposed to know this. That is fine too. It is a entirely part of automation. So likewise, the system analyst and even the technical architects are going to use more in-depth terminology, which are not supposed to be known by the testing team. So all you have to know is broader perspective, what HLD is, what LLD is. So in depth, you don't have to know. So don't worry about those inside. Those are all inside. So that's fine. Okay, what the UML diagram is? UML diagram is kind of design document only. Okay, so let me just go to Google. So it's kind of wireframe, or you can say in other words, it's a it's a wireframe only. So this is how it's going to look like. So you can say UML diagram is a hybrid cross between wireframe and the design, like flowchart. So it's gonna be more comprehensive and it's more understood by, yeah, this is a UML diagram. It clearly shows what this person user goes to bank ATM and checks bank balances, deposit funds, and goes to bank, how this is gonna work from the flow wise, navigation wise. So it's more user friendly. I mean, even the non-technical guys can understand this. So that is the difference between UML and the what you call wireframes. Wireframes is mostly like they're gonna concentrate on animation aspect of the business requirements. It's a visual representation which is also dynamic in nature, animated. So yep. Okay, any more questions, guys? We are 12 minutes past. We can have 10-minute session. I'll end the session every day 10 minutes before so that we can have Q&A session every day, and whatever days we are talking. Okay, so any more questions, or you can always jot them down and ask them in the beginning of the next session. So we can also allocate 5 minutes to the Q&A of the previous session in the next session. So, and later or at the end of the session also I'll allocate 10 minutes. So 15 minutes for the Q&A on each session. So any more questions? Any more, guys? Okay, so if no questions, we will call it a day and catch you in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I'm stopping this session now.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. Hello, can you hear my voice? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Yes, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, so the class will continue. Please don't leave the meeting now, okay? The class will continue a little bit more. When the class is done, Russell Bhai will announce it's done, okay? Thank you. Yes, Russell Bhai, please mute any one of the line.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute on my PC.
Okay, I'll mute you.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, somehow it's not responding my PC. That's why.
Okay, you're on.
Okay.
Okay.
So hello guys. This is Russell. Do you hear me now? I'm not sure. It seems like yeah. So let's get this continue. So Sangam also took the class today, and then he tried to give you the overview. What is testing, what is the tester roles, and what is the importance. So do you have guys any question about that? Like this is the first day we have, like we are all going to be a tester and software as a software tester, but what is the role as a tester, what is important things we need to learn, and then when what it does, like as a tester what role we need to do. Do you have guys any question about that? You can ask me any question. Meme. Hi. So then, like, what we need to test as a tester, what is the role we need to in the company? Suppose you are going to join in the company, and then you got the application, right? And software, it could be what kinds of software you have as of now. Do you know like what kinds of software we have? No. Okay. The software is, it could be a web application. That's mean we need to browser, right? Suppose like Facebook is a web browser, or Google or Yahoo, that we need a browser, and then we need to enter the address like www.facebook.com, and then or yahoo.com, or any application, or travel.com or hotels.com, right? Lot of application that's need internet connection through browser. That is called web application. Suppose like Microsoft Word, or Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, or Photoshop. This is called desktop application. We don't need to browser to use this application. We need to install, right? Suppose they have an installer file, we need to download. There is a lot of virtual box, so we need to install. And then another application is like mobile application, right? Mobile application is two version is popular. One is Android, another one is iOS. iOS is operating system. So operating system is built in, like there is a lot of operating system we have. How many operating system you know? Not iPhone, I'm saying in general operating system. When we buy a computer, we have operating system. So Microsoft Windows. Microsoft is Windows. Mac has iOS, MCS, right? Like Mac OS. And then look, Google Chrome. Chrome also operating system. And then another one, Android also operating system for mobile. And then Linux, somebody, a lot of people, even you are not aware of, but Linux is very old and very popular in networking and database. So a lot of database server, lot of mobile networking server, they are using Linux. Because why? It is not GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. They have command prompt. They have GUI also, but it is more popular to command based. Previously, where everything was command based by keyboard interaction, and then after that mouse interaction came, and then now is gesture, like touch screen came. Everything is not only keyboard and mouse. We can use our finger to navigation the application, right? So it is task based. So it's got improvement. But as a tester, you don't know which application you are going to be test. But if it could be a web application, it could be a desktop application, or it could be a mobile application. It could be anything. So based on that, first, as a tester, we need to find out the business requirement document. This is our blueprint. Suppose like when we building like when we build a building, what they need to do the design. They need to like architects, they design it, and then we need to plan pass, and then the civil engineer working on it, and then they have lot of people are working together, and then they build the building, construction working, yeah, wiring, a lot of things, electrician they need. So same thing, as a company, when we run, we need a developer, we need a tester, we need a network engineer, we need a database administrator or a database designer, right? And then we need a manager. So a lot of different roles we have, or business requirement document writer, BA. So all together we are working as a team. So when we work as a team, and then we need to know each other roles. Yes, correct, that's good. So as a tester, we are inspecting. So we need to find out, is there any problem? But how you know this is a problem or not? That is your business requirement will tell you. Suppose like the simple, we can say login functionality. So login functionality, somewhere is username is there, right? But their requirement is username should be 6 character to 16 characters. And then if you are then this is a requirement document. If you are putting 18 characters, if it is taking, that means it has a problem. If you have a 5 characters, and then if it is taking, that means it has a problem. So that should be what the business requirement says, specified based on your 6 to 16. I'm saying on my application it could be 6 to 32. You never know. Or even password. What is happens? Suppose somewhere is saying minimum 8 characters, so or 232 characters, and then they have a smaller letter, capital letter combination. Sometimes you cannot put username as a password. They're matching. You cannot put it, or any portion, or suppose any number and what is called like special characters you can add. Suppose they're allowing dash or underscore or some exclamatory sign. So it is the business requirement document will tell you what is the design it would be, because all application is not following the same, because based on their business requirement document they're creating.
Okay, is this that thing in your company told you something like
Company means there is companies, we are part of the company. When we work, how we are getting this document, business analyst or your manager will provide this.
I'm gonna tell you something like if you're working in a Dunkin' or okay, if you're working in a Dunkin', your boss told you you have to do that thing. So you are working.
You knows your area what you need to do.
What I have to do.
Yes.
I know that thing.
So suppose
It's that thing, right?
yes, correct. That is the same way. Suppose it's company run based on who give you the rules. This is the rules is okay. As a tester, you need to inspect something, and then which one is developed. It's under construction when they develop, and then suppose their login functionality is done, but maybe account maintenance or account settings or transaction it could be in the bank or travel for the travel website. Lot of things there, right? That one is not built up yet. So suppose a small portion if you are testing, that need to be built first, and then it will be available from developer environment to SAT environment. SAT means system testing or SIT environment or QA environment. As of now we can say, don't go further, we will go through a lot of terminology, it will come and then you will get familiar. But as a QA environment, from development environment to QA environment, when they deploy it, and then you need to test it. And how you test, based on your requirement document will specify what that function will does.
Okay. So I have a question.
Sure.
If you're working in a company or something, so they are giving any like a require, so we have to work with that require in that portion.
So suppose the beginner first question is how developer will develop, how they will know what functionality it will be. They are following business requirement document. So before developing, the business requirement document should be done. Suppose like you are planning to piling your 10 storage building. Before you start digging your soil, what you need to do, you need to get the plan pass. Before the plan pass, what you need to do, you need architecture need to be designed first, right? So that is the step to step. So same thing in suppose like on the bridge, right? Bridge, when you do the bridge construction, when they do, before they design the bridge, and then after that how many piling it will be, how they will manage the river, and then how long it will be, everything is details is there. Where is this, how much is cost, it will be, right? Everything is there. So somebody is calculating, right? So same thing in the software, when they hire you, they're contracting in you like 6 months or year. How they knows this project you are working for 6 months, and then when the developer hire, they also knows for 1 year or 2 year or 6 months they're hiring for. How they knows? Based on the architecture. Software architect will design this, and then manager will provide or get the all information, and then how many people they need, and then what is software complexity, and then based on the functionality how many developer they need, based on the developer how many tester they need. The equally normally we knows for 3 developer is to 1 is standard. It could be 3 into 2. Suppose like in the company, if you have 6 developers, at least they need 2 tester, and then you are not doing the same stuff, right? So your area is going to be different. Suppose like if six developer is doing six functionality, and then you are testing three functionality, other tester will test three another other three functionalities. So based on that, how you test, the business requirement document will follow both. Developer also follow, and then based on that they are developing their code, and then they deploy it after their test. And then as a end user, our role is it is working as expected. So code means they're writing some script. So suppose like if
Code is a password.
code is not a password, code is like suppose don't get nervous now. Like suppose in the Gmail, if you go here, and then lot of things you can see on the back end. Like I wanted to tell you, this is UI designer, like front end designer, front end developer, they develop all this code. If you are right click any web page, and then right click and then go to inspect, or in the page, if you click F12, any web page, it will give you the all front end application code. Somewhere you will see the script is there. So front end developer, they are scripting for this. We are not going through, we don't need to take it line by line. We are checking on the front end, it is working as expected. We are, even though if you are not a developer, you can be a tester, because you need to know how it is working based on the business requirement document. That is our role. That is as a tester does, like find out the defect or issue or problem based on application functionalities.
Okay,
Or
we
the
have to
develop.
memorize the code.
No, even developer doesn't, because they are also they knows the process, they knows how to do that. They're googling, they are they knows the steps.
Okay.
But you need to
We
if
have to
you
know the process,
if
right?
you are be a automation tester, then you need to know. If you are going to a full manual testing, you don't need to. But I'm saying not front end or back end full stack developer, maybe you need to know some queries for database, for manual testing, because without, you cannot find any companies that doesn't have database. And even though you are writing something, right, and then for login functionality, you enter username and password, how it is validating you are login successful or not. So you are entering on the front end, on the box, text box, you are entering, and then when you click login or sign on, then on the back end, some database is matching you are registered or not. If they are saying, oh, you are valid, then you can log in successful. So some checkpoint is there in the behind. Somebody is checking. So there is application flow is there. Or maybe you are not aware of architect, like there is a two layer or three layer or four layers, you don't know. But at least you know that user should be registered. How you register, there is a form there. And then when you have a registration, and then you have a valid username and password, and then after that you can log in, right? So same way, this is functionality, but there is a lot of functionalities there. Suppose like in what is called in travel, there is a to and from, right, where to where, for the airlines application. Suppose you need to enter your destination airport code, right, or city name. So, and then this is required field. Then how you cannot write down your own city if doesn't have that list. They will say it is error, or they couldn't find it. So that how they checking, we whatever we are putting on the front end, how they're checking from the database of on that application. And then if it is matching, then they will give you, oh, okay. And then it is booking, or it is available or not, it is overbooked, or you are looking for somewhere, then that one ticket is not available. How they find out? They are getting some data from the database. It's all sell, right? Or suppose like they had initially they had a 20, and then now it is 2 available, 18 is occupied. How they knows? From the database. So all are behind front end to back end, it is all are data related. So we need to As a tester, we need to know all architect, how software is built, and then as a tester we need to know like how we need to test. There is a lot of software development life cycle, right? It is called SDLC. They have a plan. Suppose like if we go as a lot of things as a QA testing, what we need to do, we need to improve our quality, application quality, right? Then how it is improved when we test.
What is QA testing?
QA testing is quality assurance. Quality means you have a quality product, right? Suppose we have a brand name.
How quality?
Quality, what is the quality? Quality means
How quality that thing like that um
you are saying like how you measure the quality, or
how
how you
qualityful that thing your work on that your yeah.
so quality means like as a business requirement document, whatever they're mentioning, and then it should work as expected. Suppose you are traveling, suppose if you go to orbits.com, or sorry, and then orbits.com, if you go any, just I'm saying, so suppose here you see this is your page, and then from here it has from, and then this is fly to, and then
Quality
this is
is something survey.
it is not survey. I'm saying like it is working as expected. Suppose what is the expectation of this page? You need to searching something based on which city to which city you want to booking some hotel or flight, and then it will give you what? It will give you the some list, right? And then based on your what? Based on your maybe date, or based on your price, or based on your sorting. There's a lot of things, but you are expecting some data. It is not give you the you are searching something and your makeup box makeup information came. Do you expect here makeup information came? Do we expecting here our car information will come? No. What is it? Is all about you, all about our flight information or hotel booking information, not something else. Suppose like in the Best Buy, you are writing laptop. We are expecting what? We are not expect electrical things. We are not expecting this is coming as a clothing information. That is not our requirement, right? Or when they develop it, it was not requirement. Requirement was based on the searching criteria. The result will be the same. Suppose Best Buy has lot of appliance. Suppose kitchen stuff, or laptop, or networking, or bulb, or TV, or phrase, lot of criteria. Suppose you are searching criteria, you are putting kitchen product, and then but your bulb is came, so that is mismatching. Don't you think it is coming without testing? No, there is lot of tests. They have a more than 100 items they have. How such page came, they need to test it like it is coming proper proper way. Whatever the end user searching on the search box, whatever they put the name. Suppose on the Best Buy we are putting ship, and then what we are expecting? They're not selling any ship. If I put airplane, they're not selling this, so that need to be uh, validate, right? Okay, they will give you some message, oh we are not selling, or we could not find, or search is not we are not selling this product, or zero search result, or something like that, right? That should become. Suppose you are putting enter, and then the application is got crash. It could be because you don't you think it should be crash? Because if it is not crash, if it is not handling on the front end, suppose you are putting on the front end your rickshaw on Bangladesh, where they're not selling this on the Best Buy. Buses, they're not selling this. So every, why I'm saying this example, because application is based on what the target people, what we are what the end user is targeting, right? They're building this. So based on, we know the requirement, developer know the requirement, and then we can test it based on our requirement document. That is our That is our blueprint. As a tester, we need to know what is this, and then how quality come. That is the quality as like if it is working, what is the requirement document is mentioning, and then suppose like we have a name field, and then there's the application form. The name field could be what, alphabetical. If it is allowing 1 2 3 4, that is problem, because nobody's name 1 2 3 4, but somebody need to handle those, right? Only alphabetical on the name field, only numerical alphabet, uppercase or lowercase only allow. No special characters, no number should not allow. Even though if you have the field like credit card number, that is only the number, or if it is a zip code, only the number is should allow. No alphabet or special character should allow. And then they have a length. Suppose credit card is 15 to 16 digit. There is no if you enter 32 character or 20 characters, there is a problem, because it should not allow you to enter more than 16 characters. Or if it is US zip code, then more than 5 characters should not allow, even though it is number, right? So that is requirement document will give you that is information, that particular field. Suppose like in the web application, you are booking something, and then how many travelers we have, they have a list, and so maximum how many you don't know. Suppose 6 here, you see orbits is allowing 6 people. So if you are if you have a text box, if you enter 7, that is should not be, because business requirement says maximum 6 traveler at a time can take the room or booking. So this is their requirement. Maybe another if you need a 8 ticket, so you cannot buy at a time, so second search you need to do that. So that is the business requirement document will tell you what is the functional process or functionality should be. That's why before testing, if anybody said, okay, can you test? You cannot test without business requirement document. If you don't know, first you need to exactly same thing. The developer, when they develop, before they need to go through the business requirement document. Based on that, they need to build it, and after their build, after their test, we are testing. Same business requirement document or functional requirement document or SRS, system requirement document or system requirement specification, is lot of terminology it has, but you need to follow those. You need to follow those, and then after that, as a software tester is a technician who conduct, this is the prescribed test on software program or application prior to their implementation to ensure quality, design integration, proper functionality. They apply rigorous testing method including extensive end users simulation. That is important. End user simulation. So simulation means we are acting. It is we are end user. Suppose like Facebook or whatever is the production it goes, so a lot of user is using, how they use, we are testing not as a developer, we are testing as an end user. Okay, that should be, suppose like font is very small, or foreground or background is like when you read, suppose you are putting yellow color, and then on the background is very light red, and then when you read it is, you cannot read properly because it's usability. It is also a part of usability testing. Okay, that and the font also is very big, or font could be very small, that need to be notified. Developers should need to handle those as well. And also the right order. Suppose like you are putting your first name middle, and then middle name in the first, or maybe address is first, and then they have some order, right? When they build up the form, they have some order they need to maintain. So before your payment information, your user information should be there. Credit information should be on the next page, not the first page. So that is the requirement document, which page to which page navigation. Then everything, if you know, after that you can test it. And then how you find out the bug? If business requirement document is says something, and then your application is working some other way, or it is not working as a expected. So that is your validation point. You are validating that is working properly or not. When it is working properly, your validation is correct. That means no bug. If there is no exception, suppose like for password field we are saying minimum 8 characters, so one capital and one special character. So if you are putting without special characters, if it is take and then it is a problem. You should get the proper message like, okay, you are not following the rules whatever they have, minimum one character of capital letter and one special characters.
Yeah.
So that is the thing.
If we follow properly their requirements,
Even though suppose on the banking, suppose in the daily ATM machine has 1000, right? Minimum you can withdraw. Suppose if you put 1100, if it is give you the money, that means it is the issue.
Yeah.
So before going to the production or end user, they are testing those. Now even though from your banking, if you want to transfer some money, suppose you have $1000 and then you are sending 2000 or 1500, you cannot send it, because the rules is if you sending money should be less than your available money.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise you cannot send.
No.
So that you need to test also.
Yeah.
It is a negative test. Suppose you need to put 500 and then you need to send it 600 or 501. Then if it is give you the proper message, that is working as expected.
Yeah.
If it is allow you, then company will lose money.
Yeah.
So that is critical. That's why you need to inspect. That's why our job is inspection. So what you need to be testing, like meet the requirements, verification and validation the product application before it goes live into the market, and then input combination and precondition. What is the input combination and precondition? Suppose like for the banking, if you are transfer something, you need to be a registered user. You need to open an account first in the bank, and then some minimum deposit you need to available, right? For opening a account, you cannot open an account without zero money.
Yeah.
Right? You need to put some deposit money.
Yeah.
So that is the precondition.
Yeah.
And then how you find out it is user friendly or defect free? User friendly
So
means
the input combination is we have to put data.
yes, all are data, all data related. Suppose like on the searching, right? We need to put some field on the searching criteria. If we don't enter anything and then click search, and then what you see here, and then what?
Nothing.
Please correct the below error, right?
Yeah.
So 4 error we got, because this is the required fields: city name, from, and to, and then departure date, returning date.
Yeah.
So any combination we need to enter, and then after that we can search. Without anything missing, we cannot do that. Even though if we put okay Philadelphia to where? Philadelphia to maybe JFK, New York. So you are putting there and then you are searching, even though there is 2 field missing. You see the error message is there. So this is our expectation that need to be tested.
Yeah.
How it is properly, the sign is there or not, this level is there, is red color is there. It could be because this is requirement document saying that message should be red
We
color.
have to fill up properly.
Not fill up, the business requirement document will tell you what is the error message it should be, what is the background, what is it is the pop-up or it is a level. This is the red color, and then this is the sign, exclamatory sign is there, error sign is there, right? So it could be a different different message or different icon should be there. Thing we need to test it like as affected. So everything will tell you on your business requirement document. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go to after that, like definitely there is a lot of process, like there is a planning phase, right? And then they analyze these, and then they design, and then they're developing, and then we are executing or we are running those application. If it is working properly, then we close. Oh, okay, it's run pass. If it is not working, then we fail, and then developer will get the again fix that code, and then we are retest, and then after retest, if it is failing again, we resend them. If it is retest is pass, then they are closing. Okay. So those things we need to do. So overall, I wanted to give you like 10,000 feet overview, like what as a tester, what we need to do as a, what is the QA tester roles we need to perform as a testing, software testing, or a lot of application testing, right? So that's main thing we need to know. After that, what is the background you have? A lot of people are coming different background, but we are going through the same level. So we'll give you the materials you need to follow. A lot of things you don't need to memorize, but you need to get the sound knowledge, and over when we repeat, and then it will go on your brain. I would say I'm not getting 100% assuming like, okay, this is the class today, and then you will this remember forever. If you are not remember, if you are not study at home, you will forget next week. So you need to for study at your home, review again, and then write down something which one you are not understanding, and then ask, because when you are going to the job, that time nobody you cannot ask silly question, but now is your learning process. You can ask any silly question or anything related question. Don't hesitate, because this is your learning process. If you are feeling shy to ask the question, maybe I might miss something, because what is the level who are working right now, because they knows everything right now, but you are learning the process, and then you will become a good tester when you know the all the process. That is our goal. So I want to do like I don't want to go step by step. So Sangam will take the next Tuesday class, follow the class properly, and then try to attend, and then if you are not understanding, ask him, or drop the question into the email, and then we're gonna help you. And then this, because right now we cannot do everything is babysitting. So but at least whatever we are giving you the materials, we are expecting you are going overview, or you are understanding. If you are not give us the feedback, or ask the question, then we are assuming you are understanding everything. So don't feel shy. Ask the question. That is for today. This is overview for like what is the tester role, and then this is the demo class. So definitely we're gonna start to again from like what is the role, what is we need to know, like test planning, test cases, and then that there is a template is there, defect template is there, and then how to write down manual testing, how to do perform manual testing, or write down the test steps and collect the test data, and then make it pass or fail. So all information you will learn with this course, but you need to always follow our class step by step. If you miss one class, and then I would say like when we have time, we have a recorded version, then they will give you the link. If you are not getting, your responsibility to mail us to get the link first. Yeah, then next class you are coming, oh I did not get it, link, video link, and then I miss it, because you are losing. Definitely will give you sometimes if there is a technical issue, or maybe some email is missing, so you also perform that, oh you are not getting this, can you send it, you can drop an email to Asad bhai, or me, or Sangam, and then we're gonna coordinate. Okay, so now it's 1:11, so this is for today. Thank you guys, and happy study, and then goodbye for now. So